So nice seeing you. We ran into each other. I saw you last weekend at the Eagles game where your son helped them win.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yes, we had a blast. It was so nice running into you, and I got to meet your husband.
Yes.
And yeah, and I ended up talking to Hologics, letting them know that we touched bases and took a picture. They were pleased.
I love that.
And so hopefully I've run into you at another game before.
Oh my God. Anytime I can go to the Eagles games, I try. When it's not too cold, like this is like the sweet spot in October, November. That's where I like to go.
Yes.
What's it like seeing your son play in the NFL?
Oh my gosh, it is surreal. It is absolutely surreal. I saw him doing amazing things, and he's displayed athletic ability for years since elementary school. But my goodness, I'm a proud mom.
You should be. Did you ever think he would make it to this level? Like when he was a child, was he just that good?
It honestly looked like he was bound because for an example, third grade competing against fifth graders. And so it was obvious that he was able to set himself from the competition early, and he did so. Actually, there was a time where this kind of goes into Kelee Ringo and going to the league. I had brought him and relocated him from Tacoma, Arizona, suburb of Seattle, and relocated him down to Phoenix, Arizona, because he was already the best, and he was getting better. So I had to reposition him where he had, kids that were at his level, and just kind of up there in the corner of the Pacific Northwest, they weren't there. And we ended up going down to Phoenix, and we went to Sorrel High School, which is a very well-known football school there in Arizona. And to be honest, they don't even have to recruit. They just, they have kids all over, relocating from all over the country to go to that school.
Well, it just shows you, it shows you that not only to be in the NFL, you have to have the talent, but then you also have to have a support system like he did with you. So kudos to you. Like, this is a team effort to get him to the NFL for sure. So I wanted to focus a little bit on your breast cancer stories. So before we even get there, tell me about your life before breast cancer. What were you doing? I know you were raising your son. Tell me more about that.
Yes, like I had said, that I had brought my son from Washington State, and we relocated down to Phoenix, Arizona. That's where I was based as a flight attendant. And so that was his sophomore year of high school. And I literally was commuting before that. I would end a trip and then get on back up, to Tacoma and be up there on my off days. And then when I went back to work, I'd get on Phoenix. And so I was happy that Kelee was displaying that he was going to be mature enough to make it to school on time and make sure his homework was done. Always been an impressive young man. And yeah, I just, he holds himself to a high standard, and I'm so, yeah.
You were working as a flight attendant, right?
So I was working as a flight attendant, and actually at the time, when COVID happened, we all got laid off in the flight attendant industry May 1st of 2020. And so then I was a stay-at-home single, and trust me, I wish that I could have gone back to work so I could have a break.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are
a lot
that at home full time, and I was feeding a 17-year-old boy that was eating me out of house and home. And so my job was to do dishes.
17-year-old football player, right?
So yes, I was working as a flight attendant and just enjoying traveling around to I think we broke the record for the unofficial visits when it comes to the young men choosing their college. And we went to the University of Georgia literally 6 times. And we went to Texas Longhorns 5. We were making and Ohio, and that's just the most extreme examples. and they were, our top two-ish. But we were doing our extreme due diligence with choosing a school. And again, as a single mother, I always have to position my son in a place where under other men that I know and trust. And there are other men that have played this role in high school and elementary school. And I just was going to drop my son off on a man's front door at college and not know really who he is, and an executive decision. And I just did what I could, all of that weight on my shoulders, and we made the right decision.
Yeah.
Well,
I was just asking, so that was your life before breast cancer. And then, so tell me about how you came to, we had talked about this before about, being a mom, you put yourself second a lot of times. So tell me about how you came to be diagnosed with breast cancer and how being a single mom really impacted that.
So referencing us breaking the unofficial record and flying across the country, I am embarrassed to admit, but I am here to be vulnerable and tell the whole truth. I had a pencil eraser size mass located at 10 o'clock at the breast that was palpable. I outright ignored it. I was a busy single mother, and we were flying across country and taking care of business. I had bigger fish to fry, for lack of a better phrase. Yeah. I had more important things to do than to worry about my own health. I had to take care of my son. Went to the point that I didn't even schedule an appointment. And in hindsight, I cannot believe, I just am blown away in hindsight at what I outright chose to put myself through. I'm not making and going and getting checked. That's why we're here on this podcast, because I think everybody can relate to, it's not going to happen to me.
Yep.
And that's just where I was at. And then once I was diagnosed, once I received the diagnosis, I was, science, it was science. I wasn't in denial that it was cancer, but I certainly was prior to hearing the diagnosis, because I just didn't think it would be me.
Yeah. I think that's so common. You feel something, you don't want to feel it, you don't want to know what it is. Denial is a huge part of it. And, I think that taking these complaints seriously and just recognizing that the earlier we can find it, the better, right? I think that's an important take-home message. So, if it is breast cancer, we have more treatment options, and just you get better outcomes when we can find it early. So as scary as it might feel to find something that is concerning, I think that the take-home message should really be just let's find out together what it is. Like, it's possible that it's not, right? But especially, like, there comes a point where people come in and they've noticed it and ignored it, and it's getting bigger. And at some point it gets so big that you just can't deny it anymore. And then it's always like a look of defeat. So, just again, like, the earlier we could find it, the better. So just remember that in the back of your head. And yeah, I know that you probably regret not going sooner to the doctor.
That's been through it. No, don't keep it in the back of your head. Center, and pay attention to your body. Do not ignore it. Your body will tell you it needs help. My body was screaming, was ignoring it, and almost paid the ultimate price. We as women are comfortable putting ourselves on the back burner and putting our loved ones, families, and children especially first. But I'll use a flight attendant reference. When the oxygen masks fall, they tell you to put on your oxygen mask before helping others. That's because you have to be okay. You have to be okay mentally, physically, psychologically, in every aspect. But women, we neglect ourselves, and we have got to stop. We actually need to spoil ourselves and maybe go get a foot massage
Right.
and just stay in the right frame of mind so that we are happy and feel good and in our overall
Our
health
best
and
health.
wellness.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I'm speaking in Zen terminology
Yeah.
and tap
No,
dancing around it, but
it makes sense. I mean, you can't help yourself, help others before you could help yourself. Like you can't got 3 young kids. And like my mental health, my physical health is like the first thing to go, unfortunately. And I think that as mothers, I think we all face that, especially with like mom guilt. Like, you know, you're a flight attendant, you get so little time to spend with your kid, you don't have time to go to the doctor. Like this will change my plans. But like at the end of the day, this is God's plan, and we got to listen to, you know, pay attention to ourselves and put our health and wellness first. So tell me about what that looked like. You found a lump yourself. How long did you take for you to get to the doctor? Was there a long time? Was there any barriers that you faced while trying to get an appointment, things like that?
um I outright ignored the mass again for 9 months, 10 months. And when my son was scheduled to report to school June 3rd of 2020, I was preparing for his departure and had already lined up, you know, gosh, I was about to turn 40 and it's time to get my eyes checked. And but 40, let me go get this mass checked out and do my my required or scheduled mammogram, which I will circle back to that subject because 40 years old is not the age to start, in my opinion.
I'm with you. Okay, so you go and get it checked out of it.
Yes, and so I had communicated to them that I had a lump that I could feel. And so they incorporated a biopsy into my initial appointment. And so that happened. Geez, my son left and reported to school June 3rd. And it was, I think, maybe the 8th, I had my appointment. And then 12th got the diagnosis.
Well, it's good that once you got in, that things were moving quickly, right?
Yes.
Because certainly it's not uncommon to hear like lags in terms of, you know, getting seen by a doctor, getting an appointment to get the radiology test, the mammogram, things like that, getting the biopsy. There could be lags, especially in a Black community, which we'll talk about, that they face more lags than their white counterparts. So I think that's a really important part of the conversation. How old were you? You were 40 at the time of your diagnosis?
I wasn't, but close
Okay.
enough.
Close enough.
I was turned 40 in August, and this was June.
Okay, so about to turn 40. Yeah. And did you have any family history of breast cancer or?
That was exactly what I was going to add. No, that's why I had convinced myself that it's not cancer.
Right.
It's not cancer. It's not.
So you had talked yourself into believing that it was going to be benign, right?
Without a doubt, because cancer doesn't run in my family. I wasn't 40 years old yet. And I felt fine. And that was enough to convince me that I can at least wait till I'm 40 and can begin,
you know, out, right?
Yes, and then annually beginning at age 40. But that's a mistake. That's a mistake. I had when my biopsy, they didn't have all the information, you know, with my biopsy, but I was not in the beginning stages. I had almost stage 3, which actually it sounds like it was stage 3, considering there were dead lymph found in there were dead cancer cells found in my first 2 lymph nodes. And so it was communicated to me that it was stage 2B, stage 2.5, you know?
Right,
But it was in, the point is, it was in the process of metastasizing. And
yeah. I think you bring up a lot of good points. So, you know, 40 every year is a kind of an arbitrary number that that insurance companies use to on a risk scale of like how you're going to catch the most cancers and cause the most benefit. But it's all like about a risk benefit ratio. So certainly there's about 12,000 women a year are diagnosed with breast cancer before the age of 40. The real goal is trying to identify who these women are. So, it's really, there's a rise in young breast cancers, unfortunately, especially in the 30 to 39-year-old population. So one of the newer recommendations that I like to say, so 40 every year is an average risk women. So that means that high risk women need to start earlier. We start as early as age 25 for MRI and as early as age 30 for mammography. And really, the goal is to try to identify people that are going to get breast cancer early. But most people that get breast cancer, unfortunately, have no known family history or genetic mutations. So, that is often a false sense of reassurance for people. But I think that there's a newer recommendation that says that all women, especially Ashkenazi Jewish and Black women, should have a conversation with their healthcare providers about breast cancer risk factors before age 30. So we can identify high-risk women that might benefit from earlier or supplemental screening, such as yourself. But unfortunately, I don't even think with those things that you would be caught as a high-risk individual because you don't have the typical risk factors. And that's what we're seeing, unfortunately, is that a lot of these people do not have those risk factors. So then it's really about knowing your body and advocating for yourself when you find something that feels abnormal to you and taking it seriously for yourself. Because, under age 40, we're not typically screening these patients for breast cancer. And that's where the disconnect is. And I agree with you. I think with this rise in young breast cancer, they used to kind of do a baseline mammogram at 35, just to hopefully catch the 30-year-olds that might have breast cancer. And I don't think that's a bad idea. I think it would be hard to get insurance companies and medical societies on board because we even have difficulty getting 40 every year. There's controversy over that, which is a shame. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if I had stage 2B or stage 3A, stage 3A, because it was in the process of metastasizing, when did it start growing?
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Right. We don't know that. Yeah. And as a breast radiologist, so I'm the doctor who's interpreting the mammograms, the ultrasounds, the MRIs, and then also doing the biopsies. I see young breast cancers every single day in my practice. I'd say the majority of patients we're seeing right now are in their 30s. We see 20s. I saw a 19-year-old the other day. And usually when they're that young, they usually have some kind of identifiable cause, like history of a malignancy as a kid and had radiation. That's why they're getting it so young. But a lot of these people do not have these, risk factors that we typically look for. So I think that patients and physicians need to kind of change what breast cancer looks like in their head, because a lot of people think it's an old person's disease. That's not the case anymore. It's actually going down in older people and increasing in the younger population. So I think we have to take that seriously.
Absolutely. And that's why, that is literally why I've chosen to take, this is my new mission in life.
I love it. It's meant to be. Advocacy is so important. You have such a platform, and the ability to use this for something good is beautiful. So
thank you.
I'm here for it.
I feel blessed that the cancer is behind me. And in all honesty, I am a retired fireman paramedic and I am not able to be as active anymore because of an injury. Mm-hmm. So I have just felt like I'm not making the same contribution to society as I once did. And I just wasn't feeling good about myself. And this really back for me. And I'm going at it so strong. I have a big mouth. I want everybody to hear my voice, and I will scream at the top of my lungs to take breast health seriously. I don't care if I have to air you into breast health.
Uh-huh.
Comedy to incorporate, I will. However you hear the message, even if
I
you
love it.
like me, you will remember my message.
Exactly. I mean, that's how we bonded over our love of advocacy and just the importance of using your voice to help so many people. And like, I have a small platform, so imagine what you could do with a big platform. Like, it's really exciting, and I'm happy. I'll be cheering you on for the sidelines.
I am so excited. So we're talking about
Yeah,
beginning that mission of building my following at the Philadelphia Eagles. That is
I love
pending.
it.
And absolutely, I can't wait, because I love these fans. If it were to happen and unfold like it unfolded with the University of Georgia, then it is just, the platform is huge, and it doesn't matter what month it is. And
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. I'm not just, advocating breast cancer. It's cancer.
yeah.
It's the
Cancer
worst.
awareness needs to happen year round.
It's the worst thing
100%.
through. I want to prevent anyone and everyone from going through it. Everyone has to be upfront. Everyone has to be knowledgeable of their family history. Everyone has to care, and we can't wait till the last minute to decide
Yeah.
we care about a pending condition, because then it could be too late.
Right, exactly. So tell me, there's a lot of things I want to ask you about. So you started the Ringo Family Foundation. Tell me a little bit about that.
So it is still in the very, very beginning phases, and have an amazing partnership with Hologics, and we are working on, and we are working on collaborating and what we're going to do moving forward. Be Coleman, and I just am excited to have. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Chemo brain is real.
Well, okay.
I've
So let's
heard.
take that example.
Yeah.
I am so please remember where we're at.
Totally.
I cannot tell you how difficult it is. I oftentimes lose my place if I'm attempting to focus and tell a story, especially, I kind of have to have bullet points written down, or it helps to be able to write down. It helps to have someone that understands remote brain and that knows that they have to. So thank you so much. Gosh,
of course.
Regular people just don't understand. It is what I like to as undiagnosed brain damage is what chemo does. I have examples from my professional career as a paramedic. There are things that I've outright forgot that I, without a doubt, couldn't have forgotten. There are just things that my memory is extremely compromised, and I catch it all the time. Again, I don't want to, if I'm into taking your breast health seriously, it is difficult just going through life and unorganized, and just like you have to go above and beyond to just be able to live regularly. That's a reason to not have chemo in itself.
Exactly. I mean, if your breast cancer is caught early, a lot of times, depending on what type it is, and we can possibly avoid chemotherapy. So that is one of the benefits. We talk about early detection saving lives, but it also saves, more aggressive treatments like chemotherapy or lymph node dissection, which may cause long-term sequelae that are unfavorable. So we have to look at quality of life, like the mortality rate. We have like a 99% survival rate when we catch breast cancer early. So we really have to focus on quality of life after breast cancer, right? Like we have to take that seriously.
Absolutely, because I can't compare, when I finally when we finally went ahead and measured my mass with the visit, it was without a doubt a pencil eraser size at first. I might have those candidates for them to go in and just remove. I'm not sure if I would have, I'm not sure, but it would have most certainly been lesser of a treatment. And at the time, was at the time that I was making the mistake of ignoring my health. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Signing myself up to go through, but I would.
You know, you learn, and this is why you're here today, is to encourage people to get tested when they notice something. And yeah.
So literally, if you are listening to this podcast, that's this entire experience has changed my entire life mission. I am I love flying as a flight attendant and I enjoy traveling, but I have got to communicate this word to as many people that are willing to listen.
Yeah. Well, I think anyone listening to
their health, their body's health all together.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think this is a good reminder for anyone listening. When, like, am I overdue for my mammogram? When's the last time I had that? When's the last time I did my self-breast exam? I really do encourage a monthly self-breast exam, because especially we talked about the rise in young breast cancer. Like, this is how young women are going to find their breast cancer, right? About 80% women find their breast cancer themselves. So I think we really have to take that seriously. I'm going to bust up my little friend here. This helps me do the self-breast exam. And he cute. I know.
Cute.
So, yeah, but I'll have to send you one of these. This is my little breastie.
What do you do with it? What do you do with it?
What do I do with it? I teach the self-breast exam. I was just on NBC Philly. I taught the self-breast exam with this. Good Day Philly comes with me all over. It's a little boob.
Okay, perfect, because I see the boob. Okay, now that you did, never mind.
Yeah, that boob. It's a boob. Yeah. So, yes to all the things. I mean, if you're listening, take this as your sign to get yourself checked, and it's probably gonna be okay. But just in case. What did your breast cancer treatment look like for you?
I was going to say one more thing, added on to what you were saying, is that I would find a girlfriend or a family member and hold each other accountable. When is your next breast exam? Maybe even make a date out of it, and you two go get that. Go out to lunch and then make a phone call to another woman that you know and love. And men, 1 in every 100 breast cancer diagnosis goes to a man.
That's right.
Crazy fact I learned.
I know. Did you know that Beyonce's dad had breast cancer?
I did hear that.
Yeah. And he had BRCA2. He has BRCA2 mutation.
My gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. It's out there. And I think we have to destigmatize that too, because I think a lot of men that walk into the department are immediately turned off by just women everywhere asking when your last menstrual period is, like things that we do typically in a breast cancer department. I think it's something that we have to look at, because especially breast cancer is higher in Black community as well. But then you also talk about disparities with, the trans and LGBTQ plus community. Like everyone has breast, so everyone is at risk for breast cancer, some more than others. And I think that's an important take-home point.
Yes, absolutely. That's perfect.
Yeah. I wanted to actually, since we're talking about this a little bit, I want to just talk about breast cancer disparities, especially in the Black community, because there are some pretty shocking statistics that I wanted to share. Is that Black women tend to have a greater than 40% mortality rate than their white counterparts. They tend to be diagnosed at a younger age and with more aggressive disease, more advanced stage disease, more likely to be carrying a genetic mutation, though less likely to be offered genetic counseling than their white counterparts. And like we said, an increased incidence of male breast cancer. So I think it is something that, like, there's barriers everywhere. It's not just, it's not like lack of insurance. There are true inherent blocks to a lot of Black communities to getting the care that they need. So I think it is something that we have to talk about. I actually have a whole episode dedicated. Episode number 5 is dedicated to breast cancer disparities. So I recommend that anyone who wants to learn more, go back and listen to that episode. But I guess, what is your message to the Black community about breast cancer in general?
I will give this example. when I began a partnership
Mhm.
with a hospital in Athens, Georgia, after the interception, and regarding speaking, and they wanted me to bridge the gap, assist in bridging the gap towards the African American community and bringing awareness, because there is a problem when it comes to everyone that has on a white coat is also Caucasian. And it comes down to, depends on the generation, trust. And there are just some hard times that we're still having to get over. And not everyone is ready for change and accepts that everyone has their best interest in mind. And I honestly had that experience firsthand at this organization that I was working with. I ended up separating with that organization due to the way I felt like I was treated when I went to the ER.
I'm so sorry about that.
It was unbelievable. So there.
What did you experience?
Okay, well, I had an emergency with my back, which I'm now pending my surgery. I was having an emergency with my spinal cord nerve stimulator being replaced. So I had a major surgery and an infection brewing, and I went to my spinal surgeon, and the spinal surgeon said, "Hey, do not pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to the ER. I'm calling the ER to tell them that an employee and my patient is on the way. I need a copy of your work and fluid in your back stat." Only to leave me waiting in the waiting room. Upon my arrival, I waited in the waiting room for an hour and a half. It was unbelievable. I was shaking and sweating, and I mean, no one in the lobby was presenting as horrible as I was. There was a woman who came in and hopped off the ambulance cot gurney and jumped herself in the wheelchair. That's when I lost it and said, "What is going on? Is it the triage's nurse's first day?" It was horrible. Then they got me back, and I said, how has it been an hour? And I'm looking and I'm sweating and shaking I can't believe that they didn't recognize that emergency. And then they got me to the back. I had 104 temperature, and my stitches blew open, fortunately.
Oh, wow.
And the infection came out. But it was right there in tubes, ready to go and travel up towards my spinal cords. It was a serious emergency. I almost died.
That's so scary. And you're lucky it went out and in.
Right. I don't know. And I just have to, it's horrible, but I'm going to have to come out with other racial experiences that I've had living in Georgia. Because, and again, not again. I am half white and half Black. I have a very neutral experience, or very neutral perspective, and multiple experiences, and some are just blowing me away. I don't know if it was sarcasm, because my face was flashing across the screen every other minute for 2 months, or was it racism? What is the reason? Either you received a phone call from this neurosurgeon that said you need a copy of this blood work and fluid stat. Also, I have another horrible example also. That is another situation. I have another situation that happened. I can say, long story short, I had a young lady that was working as my an assistant for me, and I had her in town from out of state. She came from Phoenix, Arizona, and she has her breathing was compromised, and so I ended up needing to take her to the hospital. She wanted to go to the hospital that I work, and I literally said, "You know what? Considering the treatment that I know and this was prior to my example, considering how, you know, it is in the South, I think we'll have better luck if.
Wow.
So I grabbed my badge from my fire department, my paramedic license, and we went to a fire department where I was looking for a chief that, or you know, someone that a Lou that I could just ask a paramedic student to, you know, start an IV and get her a breathing treatment. I just knew that would be more effective and that would be quicker. And so we went to the first fire department and it was closed. And second fire department, they were doing COVID shots. And the third, so only to find out that they only run BLS instead of ALS in that town. And so they outside company. So she's now experiencing breathing difficulty. And she said she just wants to go to the hospital. So I took her to that hospital, and I was very disappointed with their triage. There was actually, gosh, this is horrible. She is she is obviously a lesbian and looks and beautiful young lady. And I was in the triage with her and with the triaging nurse, and I just had on my badge from, you know, working at the hospital, and wanted to communicate, hey, you know, I would, you know, would you please take care of my family, you know, my people, just as I would take care of yours, because we both work here as my badge. She says to me, and who is she to you? I thought to myself, what does it matter? She's a patient and she needs help.
Yeah.
Fast forward, they ended up, it took them a while to get her back. In the back room, they ended up giving her 5 breathing treatments, which it wasn't working. And they were talking about just my amateur paramedic. Like I said, she is not she's not ready to be discharged. This is not okay. And they ended up discharging her home to my house where she was still having difficulty breathing. We called the paramedics. I asked them to take her to the other hospital in the town, where she got admitted to the ICU for 6 days, but qualified to get discharged from this other hospital.
Wow.
And
that's insane. That is really could have gotten
so many examples of craziness that I've been through, and it's, you know, in the South when it comes to my skin complexion.
I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. And I'm like, it's unacceptable. And I think it's something that we have to talk about and change. I forgot to mention the statistic, which is that it usually takes the Black community about twice treated. So like you said, like it's like early detection is key, but if you can't get in and you're facing barriers at every stage, it's not easy to, you know, it's not easy to be persistent and be like, no, I know there's something wrong. You know, a lot of times I think women, especially Black women, get medical gaslighting where they're kind of told it's not a big deal, you're too young for breast cancer, don't worry about it. And that's not true. We know that's not true. I have like 2 more questions. So what did your breast cancer treatment look like? I think it might actually not stop recording, so I'm just going to let it go and we'll get a notification if it does.
Okay.
What did your breast cancer treatment look like?
As soon as I received the diagnosis, they threw me into Breast Cancer Treatments of America, and I began it like in 2 days, I think. And it was the Red Devil, and it lives up to its name. And it was one of the worst treatments. I ended up, I started losing my hair right away, and it was so difficult to eat. It became really difficult to hold food down. It's not the cancer treatment. My gosh, you're hungry, but you want it, and you want to eat, but you can't. Everything tastes like cardboard. You just sit there and feel defeated through chemo. I remember I was sitting there, oh God, and it causes, you know, it's poison and it goes into your body and it does its job. And so right away, you know, you get a UTI from, so I had, my gosh, I had so much going on, and that just the thought of losing my hair, and I just have this UTI, and of course the runs, and it's just everything stacking upon everything, and you're hungry, and everything tastes horrible. It's just not, it's the worst sickness ever experienced times months. Months, no escape.
Docs,
and
the red devil is doxorubicin. It's a type of chemotherapy, just for those who don't know.
Doxorubicin is the red devil, and then followed by Taxol. And those were IV, and then I went on to an oral. And there were just different side effects. One of them made my hands and feet so raw. Couldn't use them. I couldn't walk on my feet, or I couldn't use my hands for anything. Everyone had to do everything for me. And yeah, it was difficult. It was and then it was during the year of 2020, so everyone was in isolation. And
that's so difficult.
It was
how many, so you did that for how many months, and then what?
I did the doxorubicin and the Taxol back to back. Began it in June, and had my double mastectomy in December. So it's about 6 weeks you have to be off the and that double mastectomy, I had family telling me that, you know, don't do the double mastectomy. And I said, you don't understand what I've been through. Every piece of breast tissue I have, and nipples too. So I don't want left anything. I don't want any chance of a possibility of this circling back for me. It was, again, the worst thing I've ever experienced. I cannot put into words what it feels like to be on your deathbed, and then know that in a couple of days you'll feel a little bit better, and you have to get back up and go in for another IV. It's just self-torture, driving yourself to go and do it. But you're fighting, you're in the middle of fighting for your life. You have to do it. That's literally when I can say that the phrase, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option you have. That's when I can say was true to me, when I was taking chemo, and the only person I had in town was my mother. She came down from Washington State. Literally, she sold her house.
Oh, so nice of her.
And took off and came to me. While we don't have the best relationship, you know, mom's daughters.
She stepped up.
Everyone knows how that can be. She was there. I didn't enjoy the food. I didn't, but it kept me alive. So just imagine, you know, and just not wanting to, I'm not going to argue. And so I'm watching, you know, country Western shows. We're just with Gunsmoke. I'm watching Gunsmoke while I'm on chemo. Like no breaks, no relief.
Oh man.
So that was like one of the hardest parts about chemo.
It's watching country westerns with your mom.
I mean, just not having, it was COVID, so I couldn't go anywhere. There was no break. There was no change of scenery. No one could come visit me. All I did was lay on my deathbed and wait to eat food that tastes like cardboard. And maybe the day before you go back in for treatment, maybe you're getting a little bit of taste buds back, because it is wearing out, you know, it's wearing off, and you go back into redose.
Then you do it again, right?
Yeah.
Well, look at you now. Like you're so much stronger for
Oh,
it, and I
thank you.
know. Did you undergo breast reconstruction?
I am in the process of undergoing breast reconstruction.
Good for you.
Honestly,
What type are you having, if you're okay talking about that?
I have
Expanders?
I have one side that I had extreme complications from during the reconstruction, and that's the cancer side. That is from complication from Cancer Treatment Centers of America. If I want to say that I had to transfer out of there, I had the worst experience. I would not suggest anyone deal with Cancer Treatment Centers of America. They make it look pretty, but you are just a number. And I believe that this was due to lack of care and lack of wound care and lack of education.
I think it's important there to mention that like your team, it's like a long-term relationship. So you have to find a team that feels right to you and feels like they're taking your complaint seriously. And it's just a good fit because this is a long-term relationship, right? Your team is very important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was not made to feel like that, unfortunately.
I'm so sorry about that.
So I am now flat on my left side, and I am done with reconstruction on my right. I have a successful implant.
Good.
And so we are in the process of waiting for my back surgery to schedule the day before Thanksgiving. Waiting for that. And so then I can heal from that, and then we can go back to beginning.
Oh, well, I'm wishing you.
I'm so ready to be back. I just want to be back to normal. So
I know.
So, and that's the reason why I was so quiet this whole, month of October, because
it's a lot. It's triggering.
I have a lot going on, but I just am ready to get back to it. I'm going to hurry up and have this and recover and be back at it.
You got to be well.
So, yes. And I am going to I'm wanting to address this as wide open and as vulnerable as I possibly can, because I want everyone to know the uncomfortable truth when it comes to cancer. Again, I love that when I talk to people about breast cancer, they say, "You don't look like you'd have cancer." Because it doesn't discriminate.
Yeah. Right.
It doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
And I just have to run with that. My gosh, it just is heartbreaking, and it's lack of education. And that is why I'm glad that God put this mission in my lap, and I've got a look that people are thinking, "Oh, it wouldn't happen to me, wouldn't happen to her." I'll use that to my advantage.
You guys are wrong with that. That's right.
Yes, people are willing to listen because of that, then so be it. I just want everyone to know and understand you are not exempt. That was aggressive.
That's what I want to hear. That's what.
Yeah.
No, it's so important. And listen, like I'm with you. I think that you need to see all the people that have breast cancer, because it's vast and it's wide, and it may not be the people that you think that have breast cancer. And also don't like judge someone, like you've been through so much, to say you don't look like you've had breast cancer. Like how offensive is that?
Thank you. So I'm comfortable with showing my flat side with my, are you?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's show it.
I'm an exhibitionist.
There you go. It's
I'm going to be an exhibitionist when it comes to this mission.
Show it.
Because, and so I had a lot of practice stuffing my bra in 7th grade. So I was like a natural at it when I needed it.
It all paid off, right?
Yes. Hold on, my battery. Okay.
It looks even to me.
So thank you, but it's not. This is my little tissue. And they, circling back to race, they don't have an option for colors. Maybe I should come up with that.
Oh, what do you think? Have you seen the new Kim Kardashian bra with the nipples?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh.
Good.
She got that right. Yes.
You got that right. I feel like we
She
need to
did.
nominate you for a model for this
And
one.
I think, yes, I cannot
Kim?
believe how important our boobs
That feels.
are.
Oh yeah.
I stand corrected with,
Yeah.
I'm if I were to be a man, I'd be an ass man. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But I am wanting, to look normal again because I want to be able to fill out. I need to fill out shirts, and I just want to feel like a woman.
100%. I mean, so much of our identity is really tied up in our breasts. I don't think we realize that as women. They're like too small, they're too big, they're too this, they're too that. And then when you lose them, though, you're like, oh man, like I took these ladies for granted the whole time, and now, yeah, I think it's sometimes it takes, you don't know what you got till it's gone, right?
Yes.
Oh well.
I'm going to get some tattoos and cover some scars, and that's just going to be a reason to go get some more. But I
love that.
I'd rather be in the position that I could choose to get my next tattoo where I wanted it, not because I need to cover some scars. And
you might have to get a bonus too.
had I taken breast health seriously, I believe that would have been an option. So,
well, I think that is a beautiful place to end this conversation. I adore you. I loved you the moment I met you, and I saw you from afar, and it's like you are a beacon of light and beauty. So
thank you so very much. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you for that. I enjoy you so much. I knew that this was going to be such an easy interview because it was just I said earlier, I was like, it's not an interview. We're just gonna have a girlfriend conversation. I look forward
girlfriends chatting.
Yes, we are going to work together and make some power moves, woman. I am so glad.
Let's do that. And where can people find you on social media?
On IG for the most part, Instagram, and I'm on Twitter and Facebook. And I am Tralee Hale. Yeah. And the real Tralee will come up. You can type in a bunch of stuff and then they give you the options. But definitely, that's right. I'm definitely the real Tralee, or Tralee Hale would work. And I'm in the process of changing my name to Ringo. It needs to be. I am Mama Ringo.
Mama Ringo has a nice ring to it.
And it's the Ringo, and our nonprofit is the Ringo Family Foundation. And that's where, if anyone would like to donate, I am in the process of, again, completing the surgery. I'm relocating to Philly now, confirmed. Yes. And
welcome.
And then once I can get all that, I'm just getting back on this mission, and I just need to live an influencer lifestyle because I love to go live. I'm at the airport and I'll walk in, and if I catch women, on the toilet, I'll just stop and say, hey, hello, my name is Tralee, and since I got you on the pot, you can't go anywhere. You're gonna listen to my message. And I tell them, and they'll come out of the bathroom just in tears and hug me, and and I love it's just always fun. And if somebody doesn't want to hear it, maybe they just walk out. But I have good energy, and I just want to spread this message as far as I can. And that's the type of stuff that needs recorded, and that's the type of stuff I need to post. So that's right. So look forward to that type of interaction on my social media at The Real Tralee. That Instagram is where I'm going to be most proactive, but absolutely going to get going with this message as soon as I can resituate.
Well, we have to get working together. I feel like we could do so many things together. And I need to take a quick selfie before I let you go. So ready? Okay. I love that you're in your bra now. I think I got it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you
so much. All right. Have a safe flight, and it was so great speaking with you.
Thank you. My gosh. Hold on. I think I'm going to add one more thing. I want to highlight on Hologics, and
okay, let's talk.
Yeah, they're going to offer more? What they're going to? I'm hoping to be the face of this whole organization. By the way, I'm wanting to build this following with the Eagles, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what month it is. I'm sending people to Hologics. There's so much that potential here.
Yeah. So Hologic is an amazing mammography company and imaging based company that you now this is how actually we connected, right? We were at the Hologic breast cancer awareness event. What drew you to Hologic and what made you want to get associated with them?
The fact that they specialize in mammography. And I was just at our tour, I was just blown away at the staff and the space and what they're creating and how it's going to focus on the health and well-being of just everyone in the collective. I am just so thankful to be a part of it. I'm wanting to, we had a collaboration this year, and I'm hoping for an even a much bigger collaboration this next year. I want to be loud about what Hologic offers, and I want to spread this message. And I'm just thankful to have the cancer behind me and have just the perspective that I have and know the importance and have the position. And it just kind of, you know how just everything unravels and happens for a reason.
Oh yes.
It just feels like it's just been
feels right.
And yes, and I'm just looking forward to a great partnership and working with you especially.
Oh my God, I'd love to see you as the face of Hologic for sure. And I'm grateful for Hologic because they just actually were one of the sponsors for my Booby Bash, which was last weekend, which was amazing.
Oh my, that is so
we
much
need
fun.
to get you at the Booby Bash next year.
Yes, we have the same sense of humor when it comes to this subject, and that's what I need. Someone that's what I need to work with is someone that's just super open about it. I'm ready.
That is super boob.
Oh,
super boob positive.
Exactly. I got one.
There you go. I got one too. I got three.
Yeah. Yes, I am looking forward to our partnership. I am hoping for just to be able to spread this message. I just need told what to do and pointed in the direction.
Well, I'm excited to see big things from you this next year. Only health and happiness and big things for you this upcoming year.
Yes, thank you. And positive vibes only.
Thank you.
Yes.
Have the best rest of your day. So great speaking with you.
Same. Thank you. So good to talk.